Darren. We'll just take a look at some of your swing videos from the last term and maybe some from earlier in the year as well. So this one was taken from early June. So setup looks pretty good there. Club face looks square at address, shaft fairly neutral, leaning forward a little bit, even weight distribution, head behind the ball probably just enough. You want to ensure that you've got a little bit of spine tilt at address and then be able to turn around that tilt. So what I'm talking about is this here. So imagine that's the top of your neck and your belly button there. We would just want to make sure we can turn around that tilt. So just as before you take it away, you probably gain a little bit more tilt. So maybe you should have started just fractionally further to the right than that at address. And then hopefully the takeaway is going to be a move between a combination of turning your body, swinging your arms up and starting to cock your wrists. Okay, so that takeaway looks pretty good there. Club face maybe just a tiny bit closed. Let's have a look from front on here. So, we had worked on ensuring that you got the club to loop under on the downswing. So maybe we just overdone that a tiny bit because we can see now that's just a little outside your hands there. Just put a line in here at halfway back and see what happens with this shaft plane. Half backswing, half downswing. Yeah, that's good there. Just approaching a little from the inside there, which is probably going to mean you maybe have to release it a little bit, and you're going to hit it with quite a bit of draw. And if it's coming from inside too much, that's going to affect the angle of approach as well, so it may shallow it out a little too much. And we know already that you do have a tendency of losing that angle between the left arm and the shaft a little early. Yeah, that's probably, you've lost that angle a little early there. We can probably see that better from the front view. So I think this is just going to be a matter of continuing to do training and stuff like with a weighted club, practicing from this position down to about there and just repeating that again and again and again, and your body's going to get used to what that feels like. So from front on here, we can probably see that left arm and shaft has lost its angle a little too early, so the club is going to come into the ball pretty shallow, which is going to mean that your shots are going to tend to go pretty high and maybe not penetrating quite enough. So it could have a little bit to do with left arm strength as well, because we can see you softening in that left arm just a little bit there just prior to impact. And let's have a look how it looks just after impact. Yeah, a little bit separating with those arms, but overall quite good, in pretty good balance. So I just think that you probably need to work on being able to hit a fade shot as well, or fairly straight shots, do a little bit of curve right to left when you need to, and then straight shots and being able to fade it. So in order to do that, you need to have a fairly neutral swing path. So you set up and posture and arm hang all look pretty good to me. Maintaining that spine angle is really, really important. So we've got to make sure that we keep that backside sticking out the same amount throughout the swing. So you lose that angle a little bit, and that's where you just look like you haven't got that much room there for your arm to swing past your body or in front of your body, and that's just because you've lost a little bit of that spine angle. We'll take a look at a couple of drivers. And this driver was taken end of May. The setup looks good. Just a little bit of shift into that right side there just to start your swing. Yeah, okay, so same sort of thing we're seeing with the slightly early uncocking. And the thing is, if it uncocks a fraction early, then you're going to come back, and the risk is that that club face actually is a little closed at impact, and you could hit the ball with a fraction too much draw. So, and the shallowness is an issue as well. So, overall, I think that swing has improved a lot, and it's getting much more consistent now. So, that's the key to becoming a better player, is being able to be consistent with your movements. So we'll just put a line in here at half backswing and see how you go with maintaining that. So the shaft plane there is pretty good, and shaft plane on half downswing also pretty good. Just approaches a fraction from inside, but we know that the most important thing that determines direction is not actually the swing path at impact, it's the club face alignment or angle at impact. So if you can get that club face coming back on the ball square on your intended target line, then you could be swinging out this way 6 or 7 degrees and the ball will still go 85% in the direction of the club face. So swing path not the most important thing, but certainly swing path and swing plane have an effect on your ability to control that club face as well. The club face control looks very good also in your swing, so you're doing good work there. Now we'll just have a look at a couple of short game shots. So these shots around the green, mostly it's going to be distance control and feel and touch that's going to determine how effective you are here. So you need to do a large quantity of shots to develop that distance control. It's not so much technique, but technique's still important. So I think you need to have some shots around the green where you can play a square face type shot, and you need to be opening up your club face with your wedges as well, and be able to hit shots that come out a bit higher and softer and perhaps even spinning more. So in order to do that, you need to have obviously good contact, and you need to have a shallow angle approach. So you need to have that ball slightly forward in your stance if you're trying to play a lofted shot, and more back if you're trying to hit it in a little bit lower. So your ball position looks okay there. We don't want to get too much shaft lean. Your club face looks like it's a fraction open, and we don't want to have too much weight on that left side because that's going to also increase the angle of approach. And then we don't want to be outside in too much, and we don't want to be too wristy. So all in all, that action looks pretty good. Contact looks okay there. And you also need to have the ability to hit some break and block type shots as well. So this one here, you're allowing that club face to release and re-hinging on the way through. So I think you should also have a break and block type chip shot as well. That's possibly going to make the ball come out a little bit lower, but it might be more consistent. So swing direction looks good there. Club face control looks pretty good. You've actually dropped that one under a little bit on the change of direction. So again, that shallows out the angle of approach, but overall that looks fairly sound. Now bunker shots, same thing. We need to be shallow, so we need to have the ball forward in the stance. You wouldn't want it any more back than that in your stance, because then you're increasing the angle and increasing the chances of hitting the ball first. So I think pretty even weight distribution on your feet and legs. You still need some spine tilt. You should have the ball forward, so perhaps a little further forward with that ball position, and then pretty much a normal swing when you've got a good lie. If you've got a poor lie, obviously that's when you're going to get the ball more back, you're going to get more weight in the left, and perhaps you swing it more outside in, and perhaps you're more wristy. So just sliding that club underneath the ball and keep the club going. That way you've got some margin for error. And also we want to use the bounce of the club, so it looks like you're not afraid to open up that club face, which is good. And again, lots of practice from different lies is going to help you understand how the ball is going to react out of these different lies. So you need volume for these short game shots, not just technique. So all in all, that looks pretty good as well. Maybe you could be a little bit more out in front, just getting a little deep there. So the risk is if you're becoming too much around and too much inside out, you may hit the sand too far before the ball and bounce into the ball and get a a poor result from gutsing, bouncing into the ball. So, maybe a little bit more out in front with your sand shots. And now let's have a look at your putting. So this was probably taken some time ago. This one was in February, so hopefully you continue to do some practice with some training tools that give you some feedback. And I think one of the best things is the string line. Very simple but very effective. So you need to make sure that every second or third putt or so that you hit, that you're making sure that the ball is underneath the string line. So you walk back behind and have a look at it. So then you can be pretty well assured that when you look down that you can see the ball is being dissected by that string line. Your eyes are directly over the ball. And then we just saw that you swiveled your head pretty good there. So that's really important as well, that you're in a posture that allows you to swivel your head like that and be able to see truly where the hole is. So don't be too afraid to bend over from your hips and get the top of your spine here fairly close to horizontal. That help you with your swivel of your head. So then hopefully we're also in a situation where your right arm and shaft are in a straight line when viewed from behind. Same thing if you're looking this way from front on, it would be your left arm and shaft in a straight line. That's going to help you with your club face control. And then hopefully the club just swings on a slight arc, slightly inside on the backswing, which is done there, comes back to square and along the target line at impact, and the ball can then start straight and roll pretty straight. So again, on the follow through, that club head should swing just slightly to the inside. And my preference is that for developing your distance control, that your backswing length and through swing length should be somewhat near equal. Maybe the follow through just a little bit longer than the backswing, but then you can easily develop your distance control. Now, here it just looks like you're just disconnecting your arms a fraction from your body there, trying to keep that club face square. So you've got to maintain that framework between your putter shaft, your arms, and your shoulders, and that's going to help you with that putter face control and giving the ball the best possible roll. So I'm sure if you continue to do some practice where you've got some feedback and you've got some good direction, you're going to continue to improve.